Hello everyone, today's topic is modal verbs and our learning outcomes are identify modal verbs and their functions and use modal verbs in speaking and writing. The first question which comes into our mind is, what is a modal? A modal is a kind of auxiliary or helping verb that is used to express ability, permission, advice, obligation, or possibility. And here is a list of modal verbs which I will explain them in detail. There are some basic rules for modal verbs. We should remember that modal verbs don't take s or ed suffixes. They are followed by the infinitive without to, can do, may find, shall see. They are the same for all pronouns I should, it should, they should, and they are followed by not in negations mustn't, can't, shouldn't, etc. Let's start with can. Can and can't, which is the negative form of can. We use can to express ability or lack of ability in the present or in the future. And I've given you a couple of examples below. Tom can't find his purse. Liam can skip really well, which shows the ability to do something. Giving permission and expressing a prohibition. You can't park here, it's not allowed. We are prohibiting a person to do something. Informal requests, especially with family members, friends, colleagues, but not informal situations. Can we have soup for dinner, please? General possibility in positive verbs and negative deductions that can't be true. He looks very old. He can't be 65. So the speaker thinks that he might be more than 65 years old. Let's move on to could and couldn't. Could is the past form of can and couldn't is the negative form of could. We use could to express ability or lack of ability in the past. She couldn't find her way home and my grandfather could speak 5 languages. We also use it for permission and prohibition in the past. We were completely free. We could do what we wanted. We also use it in polite requests. Could you spell your surname, please? Could we have a 5-minute break, please? Making suggestions. What do you suggest we could inform him? And in negative deductions, those were fake news. They couldn't be true. Must and mustn't. We use must to express a necessity felt by the speaker to do or not to do something in the present or future. We all know that must is generally used to express an obligation, but this obligation is felt by the speaker himself. I haven't phoned Anne for ages. I must phone her tonight. Assuming that something is true in positive sentences, she must be glad that her son came home safe and sound. And now we have to and don't have to. Have to is impersonal. We use it for facts and not for our own personal feelings. You have to do something because of a rule or a certain situation. For instance, students have to obey the school rules, and the doctor says, I have to take these pills for a week. May and might. We use may to ask for permission. May I borrow your car, please? Note that we can also use can and could to ask for permission, but may is the most polite verb to use. Can I use your mobile phone, Dad? No, you may not, when we want to sound more authoritative. We also use may and might to express possibility. It may or it might rain today. Should. We use should to express our opinions, to give our advices or asking for advices in the present or future. What do you think? Should I attend an ICT course? When we want to express our regret about a past action, I should have listened to my parents. Note that ought to is a synonym form for should, but it sounds more formal than should. So when we want to sound more formal, we should use ought to rather than should. I think we ought to buy him a gift. And we also use should when something is not right or what we expect. Those boys shouldn't be playing tennis this time. They should be at school. And here it comes will and want. Want is the negative form of will. We use will to express a possibility. Maybe I will drop and see you tomorrow. Predictions. We use will to make predictions, but the predictions are made or are based on what we think and not on what we know, I think they will win the match. Volunteering and making instant decisions. It's called I will close the window. So the person who is speaking made the decision on the spot of the moment. We also use it to make promises. I will be honest and transparent with you. Shall is more formal than will. Shall is generally used in question forms when we want to offer to do something with the pronoun I. For instance, shall I make you a cup of tea? And the last modal verb is would and wouldn't, which is the negative form of would. We use would in habitual actions in the past, and would is similar to used to, which speaks about actions which happened in the past but do not happen again in the future or in the present. When she was a child, she would sit under the tree and read for hours. Alternative to could to, but making polite requests. Would you hold the line for a moment, please? It's exactly the same as when we say, could you hold the line for a moment, please? And we also use it in polite expressions such as, I would love to know more about your family, which is exactly the same as when we say, I want to know more about your family. That's all about modal verbs. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Thank you for watching and see you next classes.